Greetings gamers, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be going over some upgrades for Grand Archives Pantheon format. We are going to be doing the Arisanna deck. So, out of the box, this is probably in my opinion, one of the best ones out of the four Pantheon precons. Obviously, it's not going to be as good if you just play somebody that updates their deck if you play it as is. But just straight out the box is pretty decent. So I have about 25 to 30 cards I upgraded on the deck. It's pretty good. I like the build so far. So what Arisanna's made to do is, so she brews. She's doing a lot of brewing, so she's making her concoctions of potions, and she's using the abilities of the potions, and you get certain benefits by brewing it. So just brewing it, what brewing is just you being able to, it's an alternative cost. So you don't have to pay the cost. You could pay the cost by brewing it instead. And then you get special benefits if you brew certain potions. But other than that, with Arisanna, how does she win? So if I could find it. So pretty much what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put these cosmic bolts into your deck. And so when I played it with my friends, I was able to get like 10 cosmic bolts in my deck, and it was insane. But with Arisanna, you want to race to get to your level 3. And so your level 3, as you can see right here, you can star call for 0 once per turn. And star calling is whenever you glimpse, and if you see a card that has star calling, you can play that card and then bottom deck the rest of the cards that you've seen, and you got to pay the star calling cost. So Arisanna, her level 3 makes it to the first, once per turn, you can pay 0 for star calling. That's really good. Now, this right here goes good with Polaris. Polaris, you pretty much want to get this out as soon as you level up to your level 3, because with Polaris, you could put a counter on it for each time that you sacrifice a herb. And so pretty much with this, here are your herbs, if I could find them. So your herbs are right here. So if you could do regular sacrifices for them, they do certain things. Like, for example, this right here, the spring leaf, you put a card from your hand in the bottom of your deck, and you draw a card. There's one that recovers, and then there's another one where it levels up your champion. So there was times at the end of the game where I had a lot of the level up your champion, and I was just playing that so I could put counters on my Polaris, because what Polaris does is you can banish, you board wipe, because you deal damage based on how many H counters was on it, and then after that you shuffle whatever the amount of H counters you have on it, your cosmic bolts into your deck, which is really good. This right here, your Cosmic Astroscope, is another good card that comes with the starter. And this is really good because it helps you glimpse. And whenever you glimpse, it gets you to where you need to use your star calling. So you want to rush to your level 3 to get these out. Now, how do you win the game? Is with your Cosmic Bolts, which are these right here. And then also this right here, your Twin Star Tonic. So what Twin Star Tonic is, it's a Astro card. And then you sacrifice it, and for the rest of the game, whenever you star call, you may copy that activation, and if you do, you may choose new targets for that copy. Imagine copying your Cosmic Bolts. Super insane. So that is how Arisanna wins. So I tried to focus on that aspect, trying to level up as fast as I can to be able to get your Cosmic Bolts in deck, and then being able to do what you need to do. So other than that, we're going to go over the upgrades I did for the deck. So the first thing I upgraded was my Lesser Boom. So my Lesser Boom Scavengers. So this right here is really good because we can scavenge 10 for a spell. So we dig for the spells that we need. Other than that, let's talk about, that's pretty much it for the boons. I didn't do the other boon because the starter boon that comes with the pre-con, the greater boon was pretty good. It's the greater boon Inky. So we wanted to keep that in there. Other than that, let's talk about our material deck. So the first thing that we decided to go with is we wanted to go with a new champion. So we're running the Fragmented Spirit of Water. Reason for that is because we're glimpsing 6 and then we generate a spirit token. Glimpsing, we want... I really like this one. I like the glimpse champion spirits. The reason for that is because if we don't like our hand, it helps. It's pretty much like almost a mulligan per se. And why this one's really good is because we get a spirit shard token. And what the spirit shard token is, right here, when we hit level 3, we can sacrifice it to draw a card. So I felt like that was really good. So the other thing that we're playing for an upgrade for our material deck is we're running the Elencia Astrolabe. So this right here does come in hindered whenever we materialize it, and then we can only materialize it if it's our last card in our material deck, and if our starting material deck is 12, which our starting material deck is 12. If we're able to get this out, guys, look what it does. We could tap it, and then until the end of the turn, we may pay 0 rather than pay the Star Calling's cost, and then we glimpse 5. Insane, because imagine doing this, and we get our... Where are you? We have this as well on here, so we're doing another glimpse as well. So this is really good. So this can help us in the game relatively fast. And we're going to be looking, like I said, for mainly our Cosmic Bolts. So the other card that we're playing is the Lost Providence. So it is a Divine Relic, and then it enters hindered. So the good thing about this is we may activate this card from our material deck, and after that, whenever it's active, we can banish to draw a card. So whenever we level up, we're gonna activate this whenever we level up to our level 3. Next, what we're running is for an upgrade is the Alchemist Cauldron. The reason why we're running this is because we want to gather. We want to get our herbs. This helps us get our herbs because for 3, we can banish this card and we gather twice. And then for the rest of the game, we can ignore the element requirements for non-events element potion cards that we activate. We're only running one different element because we're playing water. That's what the pre-con was. It's water. So we pretty much kept with that theme. But the other non-water card that we're playing for element is fire, but we're only playing one. So that other part doesn't really matter. The main reason we got it was because we want to gather. So that is it for our material deck. So we're going to be moving on to our upgrades for our main deck. So we're going to start off, like I said, with Arisanna. We want to rush to get to level 3 because that's when we can actually play the game. Because if you notice with Arisanna, if you're playing the game, it's going to feel like you're doing nothing for a little bit of the game. And then next thing you know, bam, once you hit level 3, everything just goes off. That's why if your opponents are smart, they're going to target you because they know what Arisanna can do. All right. So I like it when I first played it to where my friends kind of ignored me, and then once I got to like level 3, I kind of popped off, and then we got wise and they started attacking Arisanna, even though like I wasn't a threat at the time. But like I said, you want to rush to get to level 3. So how do we do it? Is with these cards right here. This one not particularly. This one. And then we have Float. And then this. Oh. All right, so right here, let's just talk about the guides. Okay. And I'm missing one other guide. There we go. So we're going to talk about the guides first. So we have Dungeon Guide, Academy Guide, and Heavenly Guide. Dungeon Guide, don't really have to talk much about it. Whenever it enters, we can banish 2 cards at random from our memory and then level up our champion. We're pretty much going to be doing this to get to level 3. And then right here, Academy Guide. Champion cards you materialize cost 1 less materialize. So you'll be surprised how many times my friends are able to get this turn 1 and really utilize this. If you're able to utilize this at going from your level 0 to level 1 without paying anything, that's a win for that. So these are staples. And in Heavenly Guide, unfortunately, I haven't really gotten used for this card, but it's always good to have because your opponents are going to have ways to cheat level, and that's where you can utilize this Heavenly Guide. So if you're running Pantheon, these guides I feel like are staples. Other than that, I did add on a couple of cards for floating memory. So Forging Servant, on enter we gather, which is we gain a herb at random, and then class bonus we can have floating memory, which is really good. You do not want to lose cards, reserve cost cards, and that's why we're playing a decent amount of floating memory. Next we have Gentle Respite. So this right here, we can draw cards to our memory if one of our opponents has more influence and it has floating memory. Really, we got this to draw and then also to gain floating memory. Next, another good card is Radiant Origin of Cleric. It has Omni Shroud, and then whenever we recover, we put a training counter on Radiant Origin of Cleric, and then class bonus, we could pay 4 and then sacrifice this card, level up your champion, activate this ability only if there are 8 or more training counters on this card. So this is really good. You want to get this out pretty early because we have cards in deck that can heal us, but another card that can heal us are your herbs. So right here, if we're able to gather a Silver Shrine, we can recover 1 by sacrificing it. And then the other one, there's one more, I believe, right here, the Phreasia. So this right here also recovers as well. So if you're able to get those up and you sacrifice, you're putting a counter on your Radiant Origin of Cleric. And if you can get your herbs out fast, get this out fast, you can level up relatively fast. And then some more floating memories is our Floral Arrangement. This is really good because we can summon a herb and it has floating memory. Fast Cure, it helps us recover if our opponent has a greater influence than us, and then also floating memory. So as you can see, we're playing some heals. Next, we have a Blanche. Blanche is good because of her ability. If another unit you control will be dealt non-combat damage, so that includes your champion, prevent an amount of that damage equal to the amount of cards in your memory. So pretty much, if your opponents, I feel like this is also a staple in Pantheon, if your opponents see you play this card, they're going straight for Blanche because this is a target, this is like a pseudo taunt, actually, to be honest with you, because every time I play Blanche, my opponents go straight after it, kill this before they end up trying to hurt me. Next, we're playing a Find Recipe, Scavenge 6 to look for a potion. That's really good because we have a decent amount of potions in decks. Next, we have Indolent Leisure. Draw a card, and then class bonus, level 3, we draw a card into memory. So this is pretty good. Help us get card advantage. All right, and the last of our norm card, we're playing Crystallized Destiny. So this is an interesting one. The first ability right here, as long as you control 2 or more Fate Stones and or Fate-bound objects, this costs 2 less to activate. We don't play any of those cards, so we're going to be paying 3 for this. But this ability is pretty good. The next time damage will be dealt to your champion this turn, prevent that damage. When 7 or more damage is prevented this way, cards your opponent activate this turn costs 2 more to activate. This is super because if your opponent tries to hit you with, like, pretty much if this is going to be like a end of game card, because at the end of the game, your opponent's going to try to hit you with one attack that does a lot of damage. You slap this on them, you prevent that damage, and then if 7 or more damage is prevented this way, then every card your opponent activates is going to cost 2 more. So this right here pretty much saves you. All right, so that's it for the norm cards. So we're going to get into our basic element cards. So we're playing just the one combustible potion. And remember, that was the card I was telling you that we're able to play it because of this right here. That's what. So this was the only one different element card that we are playing, normal element card. So with this, it costs 4, but we could brew it for 2 herbs on enter. If it was brewed, we draw a card and discard a card, so that's pretty good. And then we could sacrifice it to deal 2 damage to target unit. So other than that, we only added these 3 cards right here for water. So the first one is the Forgetful Concoction. So we can brew it with 1 root and 1 herb. It enters hindered, and then we could tap it to sacrifice it, banish 2 cards at random from target opponent's memory, return those cards to their memory at the beginning of their next end phase, and then we draw a card. Why this is good is because you typically want to save this towards your end game, because your opponents we're pretty much going to be limited with stuff that we have by that time, because we've used a lot of resources. Now we're just trying to use what we can to end the game. So people put really good cards down in their memory. And so what you can do is you can get rid of those for a time being. It could be something that the opponent really needs, and now they won't be able to use it until they're pretty much their turn ends, because we play something like this. So this is a pretty good card to use towards end game. Next, we are playing Soothing Potion. So cost 6, but we could brew it for 2 herbs with the same name. So this is pretty much easy for us to brew. And then we could sacrifice it, we draw a card and recover 3. And if it was brewed, we draw an additional card. This is super good because 1, card draw, 2, it helps us recover. So why not play this in the deck, you know? All right, so that's it for our water. So let's move on to our advanced element cards, the Astra. So we are playing the ultimate. I feel like with Pantheon, why not always run your champion's ultimate? It only makes sense. So this right here, Supernova Divination, this is one of our in-game cards right here. This is how we win the game as well. It does have Spell Shroud. It has Arisanna bonus at the beginning of each player's recollection phase, and whenever you star call, I could put a divination counter on Supernova Divination, and then if there are 10 counters on this card, I could sacrifice it, and if I do, all units you don't control lose all abilities until the end of turn, and then deal 25 unpreventable damage to each of them. Game changing. If you slap this on, note, if you do this right when you level up, you are going to be a target, because people are going to see this and they're going to come after you, because this right here nukes the board and it kills everybody. 25 unpreventable damage, that is game changing. So we are running it. Super good card. The next extra card we're playing is Prim Materia. It is a unique item, cleric artifact. Arisanna, we can brew it for 4 herbs with different names. We could tap it to draw a card into our memory, and then if this card was brewed, the next time an Astra element source I control would deal damage to 1 or more units this turn, it deals that much damage plus 3 of those instead. That is insane, because with this, that's going to combo off with our Cosmic Bolt, because with Cosmic Bolt, you can see right here, it deals 4 damage, and then it deals an additional 2 for each Cosmic Bolt in our grave. So you can imagine, let's just say we had 2 cards, 2 Cosmic Bolts in grave. So we play this and then gets an additional plus 2. So that's 8 damage right there. And then if we tap this, since it was brewed, it does 8 damage plus 3. So we're doing 11 damage with 1 Cosmic Bolt, Prim Materia tapped, and 2 Cosmic Bolts engraved. So you can only imagine if you have a lot more Cosmic Bolts engraved and you're tapping this and you're playing a Cosmic Bolt. You're pretty much killing people with that. So this right here is part of the combo to help us kill everybody and win the game. This right here is another card we're playing, Horty Counter. So as an additional card or additional cost to activate this card, we can sacrifice Y herbs. We can negate target activation unless its controller plays X plus Y. Banish that card that had its activation negated this way, and when the activation is negated this way, glimpse 3. So if we pay 3, which will be the X, and let's just say we sacrifice 3 cards or 3 herbs, so that means the opponent needs to pay 6 in order to prevent the negation. They're not going to be paying 6 because that's a lot for them to pay, and so we negate it, and then after that we glimpse 3, and hopefully we get a Cosmic Bolt or any other star calling card and be able to play it. So it's another combo for it. This right here is a staple, Scry the Stars. Action, it's a cleric spell. Class bonus, you may banish a card named Scry the Skies, which we do play, rather than pay this card's reserve costs. So what this does is until the end of turn, cards you look at with Glimpse have Star Calling X, where X is the reserve cost, Glimpse, and then we Glimpse 3. So this is insane because this makes it to cards that don't have Star Calling get Star Calling. And so we can really abuse that by having the card that makes whenever we glimpse, we Star Call for free. And that makes it super crazy because we could keep glimpsing and then we could play regular cards and then use the Star Calling as the cost for the regular cost to play it, which is super insane. This is why I feel like if you're playing Arisanna, you have to play this card because it combos off. Next, we're playing Astral Seal. Astral Seal class bonus. This card costs 3 less to activate if target an activation of a card with the same name as a card in any banishment. We negate the target activation, banish the card that had its activation negated this way. It's just negate. And then next is Stardust Oracle. So it is imbued to, and as long as it's imbued, it gains stealth. Class bonus is at the beginning of your end phase, we summon an Astral Shard token. Reason why we're playing this is because Astral Shard token glimpses. And so with this deck, we want to keep glimpsing because we keep glimpsing. We're going to try to Star Call, and we Star Call, we're going to be doing crazy things. Yeah, but other than that, guys, that is it. This is the upgrade for the deck. Let me know what you guys think about it. I think it's pretty good. If your friends, you'll get like one game where people don't really know what Arisanna is capable of, where you could go in and like sneak your way to victory. And then after that, people are going to try to target you because they know what Arisanna is capable of doing. So if you end up wanting to make this deck, I recommend you play cards as well that give you the where is it? If I could find it. I'm drawing a blank on it. I'm going to post it right there. I'm literally drawing a blank on the name, but it's the card that the crowd's favor. You get the crowd's favor. So you really need that because you don't want to be a sitting duck. That's the thing. So everything that you can find that it has a crowd's favor, you're going to try to, if it works with the deck, you're going to want to add that into the deck. So you don't so your opponents don't get just free shots on you. And then you're going to, if you can, run cards that have taunt, so your opponents attack them instead of your champion. But other than that, guys, that's it for this video. I like the deck. With this, you have to really know how to play Grand Archive, because there's a lot of nuances with this deck that could be kind of complicated for a person who's starting out to play. But once you understand and know like the game flow and what this deck's trying to do, this is a really fun deck to play and pilot. But other than that, guys, thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and join the Holic family. But other than that, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.